Hello, this is a case brief presentation of a case that took place at the Supreme Court of Canada between the appellant RvKhang Brown and the respondent, Her Majesty the Queen. Um, we're going to talk about the procedural history first. So the initial trial was held in the Alberta Court of Queen's Bench by the Honorable Madam Justice B.E. Romain, who found that the accused was not arbitrarily detained or unlawfully searched under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and entered a conviction. In the Court of Appeal of Alberta, the majority agreed with the trial judge, which dismissed his appeal, and he entered a conviction. The law. This case was based on two primary sections of the Charter of Rights and a test. The first main one was Section 8 of the Charter, which says that everyone has the right to be secure against unreasonable search or seizure. And Section 24.2 of the Charter, which basically says that any evidence that is obtained in a matter that infringe or denied any rights or freedoms guaranteed by the Charter, the evidence should be excluded. And the Waterfield test. This test helped to determine the limits of police authority to interfere justifiably with a person's liberty or property. So let's talk about the facts. Okay, so around noon of January 25th of 2002, Sergeant Ian McPhee, Constable Gary Ritchie, and Sergeant Valerie Bowie were patrolling the Calgary Greyhound bus terminal. So Sergeant McPhee testified that while observing a bus arriving at the station, he saw Mr. Khang Brown, which is the appellant in this case, getting off of a bus, and he gave him a long stare, and he was acting, according to the sergeant, he was acting suspicious. He had several eye contact with him, so he decided to check on him. After several eye contacts between him and Mr. Ken Brown, Sergeant McPhee asked him to open his bag, basically, after a conversation, and Mr. Ken Brown pulled the bag back when Sergeant McPhee went to look into it. So he called the other two sergeants or the other police officers, and they brought the sniffer dog, Chevy. The dog identified that there were drugs in the bag, and Mr. Khang Brown was charged with possession of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking and possession of heroin. Okay, these are more facts. And at trial, the accused argued violation of his rights under Section 8, 9, 10, 24, and 24.2 of the Charter. Romain, the judge, dismissed the accused application to exclude the cocaine evidence, the cocaine evidence that was seized from his bag by the police, and the judge, Romain, determined that the smells from the bag in the public transportation facility did not constitute an information of expected privacy, and Section 8 of the Charter was not engaged. So consequently, the majority of the Alberta Court of Appeal dismissed the accused appeal, upholding the trial judge's decision, since the majority noted that if the drug evidence were to be admitted, a conviction would be proper. However, they concluded to uphold the judge's decision. Okay, so there are three main issues that they encounter in court. The first one, so if the appellant had reasonable expectations of privacy that engage the constitutional protection of Section 8. The second one, if the use of a sniffer dog by the police was authorized at common law, pursuant to principles in accordance with the requirement of the Charter. And the third one, whether the first stage of the water field test was satisfied. So finally, a decision was made. 4 judges of the court believe that the trial judge erred in principle when analyzing the reasonableness of the accused's privacy expectation. And in addition, there was an argument among the judges concerning whether the water field test applies in this case. And a majority of the justices stated that you first have to ask if the officer was acting in a general exercise of his duties before getting into the water field test. Meanwhile, 6 judges concluded that the sniffer dog search violated Section 8 of the Charter, contrary to what the other 3 judges' statement was, and for that reason, it was concluded that the evidence should be excluded pursuant to Section 24(2) of the Charter. In conclusion, the court found that the search and detention violated Section 8 of the Charter and that the evidence should be excluded because it would interfere with the fairness of justice under Section 24(2) of the Charter. Hence, the appeal was accepted and the conviction was set aside. Here are some references and, well, thank you. That's it. Have a nice one.